Then I open the door.
Okay.
Sorry. How do you say it?
Well,
Okay. So have fun.
okay.
Okay.
Ja, erste Reihe sitzt auch voll drauf los. Aber erste Reihe da sitzt Oh nee, das habe ich Angst, Melly. Ich habe Angst, dass so irgendjemand. Wenn ich von mir das war Schuhe ausziehen. Das einzige Vernünftigste, was man je machen kann, ist Schuhe ausziehen. Schuhe einfach komplett nass. Schuhe ausziehen ist das Vernünftigste, was du machen kannst. Das ist ja nie übel.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen, honored members of the Academy, you show me the great honor of inviting me to submit a report to the Academy concerning my previous life as an ape, as a monkey. I can see a look of disbelief in some of your faces. Well, I can hardly believe it myself. Nearly 5 years separate me from my existence as an ape. I believe it took you a little longer. 5 years, a short time perhaps when measured by the calendar, but endlessly long to gallop through as I have done, at times accompanied by excellent mentors, good advice and much applause, but basically, I did it alone. This achievement would have been impossible if I had stubbornly held onto the memories of my youth. Giving up that obstinacy was in fact the highest command that I gave myself. I, a free ape, submitted myself to this yoke. But it had a price, ladies and gentlemen, and it cost me my own memories. I could have returned to my life as an ape had you humans allowed it. I spurred myself on in my forced career, and with time I felt more comfortable and more enclosed in this world of men. The storm which blew me out from my past eased off, and today it's only a gentle breeze which cools my heels. And the distant hole through which it comes and through which I once came has become so small that even if I had sufficient power and will to run back there, I would have to scrape the very skin off my body in order to get through. Speaking frankly, as much as I like choosing metaphors for these things, your life has apes, ladies and gentlemen, to the extent that you also have something of that sort behind you, could not be more distant from you than mine is from me. In the narrowest sense, however, I can perhaps answer your questions. Nonetheless, I do so with great pleasure. The first thing that I've learned was to give a handshake. How do you do, sir?
Oh, fine, fine.
Oh, wie geht's dir?
Sehr gut, danke.
Hey, high five! Hey! I'm so pleased to meet you. As you can see, I became quite versatile at the art of the handshake. The handshake displays openness. Today, when I stand at the pinnacle of my career, I may say that that first handshake demonstrates the direct line by which someone who was an ape was forced into the world of humans and has continued there. Yet, I would certainly not permit myself to tell you this story if I wasn't completely sure of it. I come from the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast, anyone? Well, it doesn't really matter, but it's in Africa, on the west side, right on the bottom of the bump. For an account of how I was captured, I have to rely on the reports of others. A hunting expedition from the German firm Hagenbeck! By the way, since then, I have already shared a large number of bottles of good red wine with the leader of that expedition. We became quite close friends. The hunters were hidden in the bushes when I ran down in the evening with a group of apes for a drink. For a drink? Well, I'm terribly sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it doesn't make any sense. We do not, and I'm speaking from experience, drink in lakes, rivers, or watering holes. No, we take our liquid refreshment from plants, leaves, or fruit. And I would also like to point out that we are not stupid. We would hardly go to drink in a place infested with crocodiles and surrounded by lions. So this piece of information is totally wrong. As I told you before, I have to rely on the reports of others. The hunters. They were hidden in the bushes. Someone fired a shot. I was the only one struck. I received 2 hits. My bloody bad luck. One was on the cheek. It was superficial, and you can hardly see the scar because I had a little surgery. The plastic variety. And I also decided to have just a little lift here and a lift there, You know, a tuck and pinch. Nothing really drastic. Oh, you do understand me, madam. Oh, and they did a remarkable job with you. But this shot left behind a large, hairless red scar, which earned me the name Red Peter. A revolting name, completely inappropriate. I think it's quite clear that I'm a female. Although I do understand that for you humans it's often difficult to recognize our gender. Well, I'm sure for you we all look the same. And of course, I used to think that of you. But take, for instance, my brother and sister. My brother. He has a powerful chest. He's very proud of his chest. And these great arms that nearly touch the ground. Wonderful legs. And he's one of the most handsome boys of the group. He also has a splendid voice, so melodic you could hear him miles away. My sister, on the other hand, she's completely different. She's a most delicate creature. Beautiful. Always surrounded by the boys. Demonstrates my point. Oh, but what was my point? My memory. I'm getting worse than a goldfish. Oh yes, of course. I'm showing you the difference between us. Yes. Well, I must confess that my ability to portray an ape, as I'm sure you could see, is somewhat diminished since I've attained this human form, and I must apologize. This is something that quite concerns me, and it kills my performance. The second shot hit me below the hip. It was serious. It's the reason why today I still limp a little. And recently, I've read in an article by one of the 10,000 gossipers who vent their opinions about me in the newspapers. And I hope there's none of them here today. That my ape nature, that my ape nature is not yet entirely repressed. And the proof is that when visitors come, I take pleasure in pulling up my skirt to show them the scar. Well, as far as I'm concerned, and after everything I've been through, I do think that I have the right to pull up my skirt in front of anyone I like. After these two shots, and this is where my memory gradually begins. I was on the deck of the Hardenbeck steamship, inside of a cage. The cage was too low to stand upright and too narrow for sitting down. So I crouched, with bent knees which shook all the time. And perhaps because at first I didn't want to see anyone, and to remain constantly in the darkness, I turned away, even though the bars of the cage cut into the flesh on my back. I survived this period, making remarkably little noise, quietly sobbing, painfully hunting for